Alright, so the very first thing that I've decided to do should be dump the oil. The reason I'm doing that first is that I can have a bit of a look at what it looks like, if it's dirty, black, if it's got pieces of metal in it or anything like that. Stuff that shouldn't be happening. Gives me an indication pretty quickly that the motor's not worth mucking around with. It's the nervous bit. So I don't know if we're going to get lights on the dash or anything, but I'm going to see. There's no headlight or anything connected yet, but that's a really good sign. It's in neutral. There's fuel in the tank. Let's crank it and see what happens. Just rocking it over at the moment. I don't want to specifically get it to start. I just want to make sure there's no bangs or clanks from the motor. Alright, so that's really good news. It does rattle a bit. There is a bit of a rattle in it, so that might be something I need to look at. Might have to pull some covers off and see what's dancing around in that motor, but could also just be because it's cold and with the fresh oil it might not make it to the top of the motor yet. But guys, that's actually really awesome.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just open up. Don't be scared. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad. Cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just open up. Don't be scared.
Well, guys, that is that. I'm really, really happy with how this little bike's come up. The metallic wrap on the panels, really happy with that. There's a few rough edges, but for a first attempt, I think it's come up really well. The flat gold on the rims against that blue is exactly what I was after. I'm really, really stoked with how that's looking. But for a couple of small changes, the bike is a completely different thing now. So obviously at the start of this, the whole plan was to just get the bike going and to use it as a commuter. And I did kind of stick to that. But because it's me, I always end up doing more than anticipated. So there's quite a bit of a list of things that ended up happening with this bike. But basically the short run of it is that it got an ultra blue headlight. It got a new set of mirrors because the ones that it came with, the standard ones, were no good. They were wrecked, like most of the things. The tyres that came with the bike were no good, so the rims have been repainted and the tyres have been changed with the little Shinkos that it's now running. The gold paint on the wheels was probably the hardest part of this job. As I mentioned, the paint took a lot of layers, a lot of sanding just to get it right. I'm a little bit particular with that sort of thing, but it was worth it for the end. The plastics ended up being complete, which is good. The vinyl wrapping took some time, but you know, it's one of those things. I probably could have done a bit of a better job if I took a little bit longer and was a little more patient, but not to worry. The exhaust, that got a full strip. It ended up getting a new gasket to fix the leak, and it obviously got ceramic coated, so that was done as well. But other than adding a few missing parts to the bike, it's not been too bad of a build. Everything was pretty straightforward. The bike started and ran really easily, as you guys would have seen in the first episode, so I was definitely really lucky.